Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Now, oddly enough, Kubrat Pulev has called Anthony Joshua arrogant after Anthony Joshua has undergone negotiations for the Tyson Fury fight. Obviously, that would be for undisputed, but first, Anthony Joshua must come through Kubrat Pulev, who is his IBF mandatory. If Anthony Joshua does not fight him, he will lose that belt. So Kubrat Pulev is not happy that Anthony Joshua has been talking about an undisputed fight with Tyson Fury. He believes that Tyson Fury is out of the picture at the moment for Anthony Joshua because Kubrat Pulev himself is in the way, and he believes that he's going to beat Anthony Joshua, upset the apple cart just like Andy Ruiz Jr. done on June 1st, 2019. Now, obviously Kubrat Pulev is coming to win. He believes he's going to be winning. Otherwise, why would he take the fight? So he believes that he's going to win. Maybe there is some doubt in his mind. That is why he is constantly talking about Anthony Joshua's psychological problem, because a lot of people often find insecurities from themselves in others. He believes that Anthony Joshua is mentally weak. Anthony Joshua is not mentally weak. A mentally weak person would not be the fourth person in history to win a heavyweight world title in an immediate rematch. Anthony Joshua done that against Andy Ruiz Jr. If he was mentally weak, he would have came apart in that rematch. He didn't. So Anthony Joshua has proven he's not mentally weak. Has Kubrat Pulev? Look at the Klitschko fight. Did he not come apart in that fight? I believe he did. But ultimately, the problem with Kubrat Pulev at the moment is that he believes that he's being overlooked so that Anthony Joshua can fight Tyson Fury. He believes that Anthony Joshua in his own mind has already beaten Kubrat Pulev and is already looking for that undisputed fight with Tyson Fury. But Kubrat Pulev is saying, hold on, you haven't fought me yet and I'm going to beat you. So that Tyson Fury fight is not going to happen. Now, interestingly enough, Kubrat Pulev said that Anthony Joshua was arrogant for discussing this fight with Tyson Fury, but he then said that he's going to beat Anthony Joshua, then go and fight Tyson Fury. So what is he doing? If Anthony Joshua is being arrogant by negotiating a potential undisputed fight with Tyson Fury, then what is Kubrat Pulev doing, if not the same, saying that he's going to beat Anthony Joshua, then go on to a Tyson Fury fight? He's doing exactly the same. He's believing that Anthony Joshua is there for the taking. He believes that he's going to beat him, then go into undisputed himself with Tyson Fury. That is the problem here. That is the big problem. He believes that he's going to be fighting Tyson Fury and not Anthony Joshua. He believes he's beating Anthony Joshua, then going on to undisputed himself. That's what he wants. And obviously, he does want that because he wants to be world champion. He wants to be undisputed. But I believe that the biggest problem for Kubrat Pulev is he feels like he's being overlooked. He also feels like he is going to be the one fighting Tyson Fury, not Anthony Joshua. But the biggest problem with Kubrat Pulev's plan is his plan is that Anthony Joshua is going to come apart psychologically. He believes that he has the style to beat Anthony Joshua. He has seen many weaknesses from AJ that Andy Ruiz Jr. exploited. But wait a minute. Andy Ruiz Jr. is a small, stocky, fast Mexican fighter. Kubrat Pulev is a tall, rangy boxer-puncher who fights very upright and has very little to none head movement or lateral movement, falls in over the front foot. Andy Ruiz Jr. never does that. So Kubrat Pulev has completely the opposite style of Andy Ruiz Jr. So looking at the weaknesses that Ruiz exploited in Anthony Joshua and believing that Pulev himself is going to be able to exploit them is a bit mad, because how can Kubrat Pulev exploit the weaknesses that Anthony Joshua has, apparently, if he does not have the style to do it? Anthony Joshua has always struggled with smaller, faster fighters. That is what Andy Ruiz Jr. is. Very compact and will come forward to fight. When Ruiz was hurt, he didn't retreat. He didn't try and hold. He wanted to fight. Can Kubrat Pulev stay in there and fight like Andy Ruiz Jr. done? No, he can't. He tried to do that against Vladimir Klitschko. Look what happened in that fight. He stood in the center of the ring with his feet almost square, taking those punches, did not even anticipate that left hand. And he got peppered with that left hook all night from Vladimir Klitschko. Did not do anything to thwart that. And what's he going to do against Anthony Joshua? Is he going to try and fight the same way Andy Ruiz Jr. did? He cannot do that because, as I said, he does not have that same fighting style. So all of the weaknesses he believes he can exploit in Anthony Joshua that maybe were exploited by Andy Ruiz Jr. are not there for Pulev to exploit unless he's going to try and get on the inside. If he gets on the inside with Anthony Joshua, he will get knocked out, because where Anthony Joshua was fighting Ruiz, Ruiz was the inside fighter. Anthony Joshua was the boxer. So in the first fight, after obviously that third round, that mega third round, Anthony Joshua started fighting the way Ruiz wants to fight, on the inside and trading. Whereas in the second fight, Anthony Joshua made Andy Ruiz fight the way he wanted to fight in a boxing match. So what's Kubrat Pulev going to do? Try and outbox Anthony Joshua? He cannot do that because AJ is the boxer. And in this fight, Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev, AJ is actually the inside fighter between those two. Just look at their past performances. Anthony Joshua can box well at range. He can also fight well on the inside, but it did not work against Andy Ruiz Jr. because Andy Ruiz Jr. is an inside fighter, out and out. He doesn't have the same boxing ability of Anthony Joshua, the jab and the right hand, those straight shots that he can set up, but he's a good inside fighter. Whereas Kubrat Pulev is not an inside fighter. He's a boxer puncher, similar to Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua does not struggle with that style. He never has done. Now, that's not to say that Kubrat Pulev won't give Anthony Joshua a good fight. I believe he will. I think that, in fact, this could be a very entertaining fight between Anthony Joshua and Pulev. I think it could be maybe one of the most entertaining because I just think that the styles gel perfectly for a good fight. But I just don't see any way that Kubrat Pulev can trouble Anthony Joshua. Obviously, there's one punch. There is the possibility that Anthony Joshua overlooks him. But bar those things, I don't see how Pulev is good enough to beat Anthony Joshua. I just think that Anthony Joshua is better in every aspect. Anthony Joshua can do it many different ways. He can fight on the inside. He can box at range. He can do what he wants to do with Kubrat Pulev in there. Anthony Joshua will be controlling the tempo and the distance of the fight, not Kubrat Pulev, because Pulev is, as I said before, a boxer puncher. Good jab, good right hand. Anthony Joshua, even better jab, even better right hand. So you can see that Anthony Joshua just pips him in every single aspect, meaning that Anthony Joshua will be controlling the distance. He will be hitting him hard and often. And any time Pulev decides that, okay, he's going to try and work on the inside or even hold and walk Anthony Joshua back, Anthony Joshua will not want to hold on the inside. He will want to work those short shots, sharp uppercut, sharp left hook. If Kubrat Pulev falls in over his front foot, trying to grab hold of Anthony Joshua and gets caught with shots like that, then he's not going to be standing there in front of Anthony Joshua for very long. And him saying that Anthony Joshua is arrogant for looking forward to a Tyson Fury fight, well, that's not necessarily arrogant. That's just something that Anthony Joshua plans to do down the line. And he says that he's overlooking Pulev like he overlooked Andy Ruiz Jr. That was a bit different. Anthony Joshua on Ruiz fight week knew that he was not going to be fighting Deontay Wilder after Ruiz. So he kind of just became a little bit disillusioned with the sport of boxing because he wanted these big fights, yet they eluded him. He wanted to be fighting Deontay Wilder, but he said on Ruiz fight week, he's fighting Luis Ortiz. That fight did not even get announced until September? The fight didn't happen until November. Why did they announce it on Ruiz fight week if not to unsettle Anthony Joshua? And I guess it worked because Anthony Joshua just thought, I want these big fights, yet they still elude me. What is this? Road to Ruiz or road to undisputed? And that is what got in the head of Anthony Joshua. I believe that having that Tyson Fury fight set, he knows he's going to be fighting Tyson Fury next year, will motivate Anthony Joshua more rather than make him overlook Kubrat Pulev. Psychologically, Anthony Joshua must beat Kubrat Pulev if he wants that big fight. He knows it's there for the taking next year against Tyson Fury. He knows that fight is going to happen. A genuine 50-50, the biggest fight in the heavyweight division, the toughest fight of Anthony Joshua's career. And he knows that if he loses to Kubrat Pulev, that all goes away. Whereas against Andy Ruiz Jr., if he wins, he's not going to be fighting Deontay Wilder. If he loses, he's not going to be fighting Deontay Wilder. Either way, he was not going to get the undisputed fight he wanted. Whereas this time, he comes through Pulev. He gets that fight. That is why it is different. So guys, anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Kubrat Pulev has explained that Anthony Joshua is overlooking him and being arrogant by talking about a Tyson Fury fight. Guys, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below, leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. Thanks guys.